Okay. Should see my screen, and this is my second screen. Is this big enough? Letters? Make it bigger? Yeah? Okay. Don't complain later. Okay, excellent. So, I will speak about continuous delivery. And actually, I don't understand German, but I understood that most of the talks before my talk spoke about the things I will be speaking about, right? I heard a lot of times mentioned Tekton. I will show you Tekton. I heard Jenkins X. I don't know whether it was in a context like it's horrible or it's great. I don't understand German. I heard somebody speaking about Barcelona, and I got the feeling that it sounded like exciting place. That's where I live. And then I heard, and that part I understood, I heard the last speaker talking about serverless, and that's what I'm going to show you. But not for your applications, more for your builds. So actually, everybody introduced my talk. This is awesome. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so this is how I look like. I'm a Viktor. I work for a company called CloudBees. We're a company behind a few products. The one you probably know the most or heard about is Jenkins, right? So that's what we are most known for. I will show you Jenkins X. If you're using Jenkins, you need to forget everything you know about Jenkins because it's a completely different stuff, right? It is based on Tekton and quite a few other things that you heard in German, and I cannot translate for you. I am one of the Google developer experts as well. I am one of the Docker captains. I have a blog. I have books. I have a Twitter account. And that's all you need to know. OK, so since I have 30 minutes, not enough time, I'm going to skip the part explaining you that everything needs to be cloud native, cloud agnostic, scalable from nothing to something, something to nothing, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have time, so I'm going to rush into that. What matters, I believe, blah, 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 not important, is that we started, we are one of the founding members of CD Foundation, which I think it was mentioned as well previously. So this is foundation similar to CNCF that is trying to gather the companies and tools and processes to help improve the situation with continuous delivery, continuous deployment, right? And one of the members of one of the products in Foundation is Tekton. I will show you Tekton. And the another one is Jenkins X, which is a tool that simplifies Tekton. Think of Tekton as something being very low level, and Jenkins X being something that simplifies that, and many other things. OK, skipping, I don't have time. Jenkins X. That's a summary, right? Don't get attached to this logo. We are brainstorming how it should look like. So it will probably, next time you see it, it will be something completely different. It's a work in progress. So instead of giving you a pep talk and all those things, I'm going to show you through a demo how that looks like. So we're going to do a bit of role playing. I'm going to start a new project, right? We are writing a project for the first time, new project. And everything is here. This is Cloud Native Foundation. I hope that you're OK with terminal, that you don't expect me to open a UI and click buttons, because if that's what you expect, that's not going to happen. There is a UI. I'm not going to show it to you. Anyway, are you sure that you can read this? OK. I already learned that in Switzerland, people are shy and they don't speak, and then they complain in silence afterwards. Is this OK now? Yes? No? OK. I don't care. If you don't care, I don't care. So I'm going to execute the command JAX. So we have JAX, which is CLI, similar to kubectl and other CLIs you saw in previous talk. So I'm going to create a quick start. Think of quick start as being a new project. Alternative to that would be import an existing project. More or less same thing would happen. I'm going to select Go as the language. Working with Go? Anybody? OK, rest of you. You should rethink about your priorities. And I'm going to call this project JXGo, right? And B is for batch mode, means don't ask me questions. It's going to think for a couple of seconds. And then it created a directory on my laptop, JXGo. It detected that the files are Go, which is a bit silly, but detection would be important if you import existing projects. So if you already had a project, it would detect the language and the framework and do the right thing depending on whatever your language and the framework is. It converted the directory into Git repository. It detected that my user is Viktor Farcic. It knows that I like GitHub. It could be a different Git platform. It pushed everything there, and it gave me a few commands that could get me started. Okay, now, I'm going to take a quick look at my GitHub repository. I have commands here. I'm not so brave like others to just keep everything in memory, so I'm going to copy paste. Anyway, so this is my GitHub repository that was created a minute ago. So everything is happening live, right? You can see a minute ago there. And it created everything that I would need to develop and deploy and test my applications in Kubernetes, right? There is charts directory. That's where Helm charts are already created for me, both for permanent and for temporary environments. I'm going to go through that later. We need to build container images, so I have Docker file created for me. I need to run some builds and tests and stuff like that. That's Makefile. If it would be Java, it would be Gradle something or Maven something, whatever your technology is. So those files will differ from one language to another. I have owners that define who can collaborate with me on a project. ChatOps, I'm going to get back to that. We have Jenkins YML that defines all the steps of the pipeline, depending on whether it's a master branch or a pull request or some other branch, different variations of that. That's already there. I have my source code, main Go. It's hello world at the moment. You're supposed to develop. Jenkins is not going to create your application. It's going to create everything else just to make it sure you understand. We have Scaffold. Scaffold is a tool, everything is open source, is a tool that defines how to build and deploy applications. It is abstraction layer because today you might be building with Docker, tomorrow you will somebody from security will knock on your door and tell you that that's a horrible thing to do, and then you will move to Kaniko, and we want to abstract that so that you can switch easily from one to another. So I don't have time to show you those files. They exist, that's what you should know by now, and they are already, so basically what I got so far is the Jenkins created everything I need, right? Or most of the things I will need. Okay, cool. So, while I was talking, and also what I didn't show you is that it also, when it created a Git repository, when it pushed it to GitHub, it created a webhook so that every time I push something to Git, it will notify my cluster and do something, right? And it has a layer of some kind of API gateway. It's called Prow, yet another project that serves similar purpose like API gateways in serverless that you heard before. Basically, job is to spin up things, do the build tests and everything you need, and then go down, right? So it is basically serverless. Nothing is running in my cluster except that thin layer above, and a few things that kind of registry where I store Docker images and stuff like that, or container images. Saying Docker images is wrong. Whew, okay. I'm racing against time now. Anyway, so let's take a look what is happening. We call it activities. So you can see that it is running right now. So basically my first build of my new application is going on right now. And right now what it's doing, it finished building and testing and all the stuff, everything you need to do. And when you push to a master, and you can see the last line, it created a pull request to a repository called something staging. Now, what we're trying to do is to apply GitOps fully, 100%. And among other things, we don't just pipeline of your application, does not deploy your application directly, because that would mean that you would have something running and you have no idea what that something is. So instead, the promotion process created this pull request, and I'm going to show it to you. There you go. That added, added this line, basically saying, okay, so staging environment should contain your new application, right? and so on and so forth. Where every time I promote application to one environment or another, that will be sent to Git, it will do a pull request, it will merge it, and then it will deploy all the applications in that environment. It's immutable, sorry, it is omnipotent, so that works pretty well. So summary of this repository is that you have a file with all the dependencies for one environment, and it triggers a process that deploys everything you need in an environment. Okay, cool. So, and this finished so far. Before I move on, let me show you just quickly env. So these are the currently configured environment in my cluster. It can be completely different. Development, that's where builds are happening, that's where tests are executing and all that stuff. We have staging environment, and the important column is the promote one that says auto for staging, meaning that whenever I push something to master, it will be automatically deployed to staging, right? And then I have configured production environment that says manual, meaning you need to bring your manager to sign the document and promote it to production, right? It's a manual action. Okay, so what else? Let's confirm that my application is really already deployed to staging. I'm gonna get the address. So this is auto-generated address of my application in staging. And if I send a request to my application, there you go, that's the response, hello world, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So it's already running there. Now, so what we are trying very hard to do is to combine a lot of cool technology, technology that we believe is going to be called standard in Kubernetes for certain types of tasks like Scaffold, Tecton, Prow, all those things, combine it together and make it extremely simple for most of the people to use it. Now, when I say simple, I don't mean that, oh, now you don't need anybody who understands Kubernetes. That's not what I'm saying. But for most of the people, most of the developers just want to develop their code, push it to Git, and that's it. That's what is my expectation of developers to do, except when things go terribly wrong and then we all run around like crazy. So let me quickly demonstrate. I'm gonna do a fast simulation of a day in a life of a developer, right? What would you do as a developer? I'm gonna do a whole day in 15 minutes. So the first thing, I'm gonna start developing a new feature. What do I need? I'm gonna create a new branch, right? Nothing new, everybody does that. I have a new branch, it's called myPR, brilliant. Now you need to use a bit of imagination. Imagine that I'm typing for hours, I'm doing this, I'm coding, new features, whatever. And I'm gonna simulate that by using sed and replace HTTP example with HTTP PR, right? This is my automated way to pretend that I'm a developer right now. Cool, so I changed my source code. I'm going to add that and push it to Git, to the new branch that I created. So far I'm not showing you anything you're not doing already, right? If you say that you're not doing this, then there's something terribly wrong with you, okay? Yeah, I hope I didn't offend anybody yet. If I didn't, I will soon. And hours are passing. I'm finished with my new feature. I'm pushing, committing, going around. And I'm ready to say this feature is finished. I'm going to create a pull request, right? Now, since I like a terminal, I have a command for everything. Instead of going to GitHub and creating new pull request, I'm going to execute JX create pull request. So I'm going to create a new pull request based on this branch that I created before. So here's my pull request. I'm going to open it, just in case you got sick of the terminal. There's the pull request, and this is new, right? It immediately JenkinsX detected it, and it says, okay, so there are certain rules that should be followed for pull requests on this project. Rules can be different, but in this case, rules say that you should assign it to somebody, that somebody should review the pull request, and then it should approve it if it's okay. Right? Simple rules. Now, rules can differ from one case to another, but in this case, those are the rules. Now I need to wait for a few seconds until another thing happens. You can see here that Jenkins is doing something. It is working hard. Still doing something? Come on, come on. You know, like 10 years ago, if this would happen in a week, I would be a very happy person. Now I get impatient after 2 minutes. That's the problem with technology. Come on. Okay, you have 15 seconds for questions. Yes?
So all these pull request workflow, is there also a compatibility with GitLab merge requests?
Yes and no. So one of the components we're using is called Prow. Prow is a project that started by Kubernetes community itself and is used internally by Kubernetes community for their CI/CD needs. We're discarding that because it doesn't work really well. That's going to be done by Tecton. But the other cool thing about Prow is that it does all the communication between Git and your cluster. Now, since it was done by Kubernetes community for internal use, currently today supports only GitHub. Now, don't despair. Wait. Oh, heck. I knew. There is a pending pull request in Prow to support other Git providers. As soon as it is approved and merged, it will support the rest. By the time you get home and try it out, it will be supported.
Thank you.
I don't know why it failed, and now this is embarrassing. Somebody told me never do live demos, and I'm doing it anyway. That's really not a good idea. Let's try again. If it doesn't, then I'm going to use my imagination to show you how it looks like. I made another.
What is the error?
Huh?
What is the reason why it failed?
The reason why it failed, I cannot show you because I didn't set up the one of the components that shows the details of the error. But no, actually, no. I thought to show you the UI, but who cares about UI? Here is the logs. Let's see what failed. PR number 1, right? Number 2 is running because I just pushed another change. Let me see what's wrong. These are the logs. Let's see. Expected package. Couldn't load package. Package. I never saw this one. I don't know what it does. What the heck is package? Okay, main, go. Okay, you really want me to debug it, okay. This explains it. This explains the situation, okay. Okay, let's fix it. Main go, why the heck is main go not, how am I gonna write go code in a minute? Let me think. Okay, let's go here, JX create, quick start. Oh, no, I must have some, no, I don't have a repository with some stupid demo application. Let's make number 2 and see whether, probably when I did set thingy, I messed it up. Oh, I know. Oh, no. Let's see. Okay, this one looks better. Okay, and now as every good developer, I'm not going to solve the problem, and I'm going to copy and paste the solution from somebody else. There you go. See? Git add. Okay. Live debugging. And now let's take a look at what's going on. Get activities. I'm going to see. Now it should trigger another build. There you go. No, now this is JX Go 2. Ignore that one. JX Go should start. There you go. PR somewhere. Freaking out. Too many things happening at the same time. Let's limit the output to. No, I'm limiting branch. I think it's branch PR1 probably. No, that's not filter. Heck it. Doesn't matter. What does matter is JX get build logs. I'm going to take a look at the logs of the application. This is build number 3, and this time it should work. Go, my darling. Cool. Think we're getting there. Yeah, it's working. Okay. By the way, if your tests fail or something failed, this is how you see it. And then there is a link which doesn't work because I didn't install one of the components. I thought this would not happen. Almost there, almost there. Now, what is happening? Let me see if I got the message. Yes, there you are. I got a new message in GitHub. In this pull request, PR is built and it's available in a preview environment. Preview environments, so we have permanent environments like staging and production and what's not. And preview environments are temporary environments. So my new application, new release, or release candidate is deployed in a temporary environment that will disappear when I close or merge this pull request, right? So it will not waste resources outside when you finish reviewing or whatever you're doing, right? And if you don't trust me, there is a link. Again, you can see it. Now I was supposed to change this to some other text. You need to trust me, this is really a new release. So my PR is available, and now I should start reviewing, right? I should say assign it. No. Let's be nice. Can you please take a look at this PR? Assign to Viktor Farcic. Don't you hate new MacBook keyboards? So what I'm showing you now is what we call chat-ups, meaning that communication that is happening, part of that communication is translated into actions, and actions do something. And you can see, you need to trust me, I didn't show you that I was not assigned here a moment ago, and now I'm assigned to this pull request, right? I can do other stuff like, this is horrible, never do it again, close, right? And if you look at the green open button over there, there you go, it's closed. Or, I like you, after all, reopen. Right, and so on and so forth. So the list of the commands is huge. It comes from Prow, it's open source project, you can see all the commands. The one that is most important command of all is this one. No, it does something, there you go. You have a kitten, you can have a doggy, or you can have a unicorn if you're not into real creatures. Anyways, let's say that I reviewed this and I say LGTM. It's a nerdy way to say approve. Look, it's a short version of looks good to me. So I'm about to approve this pull request. And what should happen now? It will happen that say that you're an idiot. You cannot approve your own pull request because that's just silly. Now, I cannot show you what would happen if I'm somebody else because I'm not somebody else, but if I don't have time, normally this file would have other people involved in a project, and then new pull requests would be automatically assigned to somebody who is not the person who created the pull request. That somebody would receive a notification, would review the code, approve it, not approve it, add labels, put it on hold, whatever you want to do, right? There is a command for everything, or a text for everything. But I'm gonna circumvent that and say, okay, the heck with the chat-offs because I don't have time to add one of you to my list of collaborators. So I merged my PR into the master branch. Cool. So let's take a look. Which applications do we have now in a cluster? We have JXGo and JXGo 2, the one, ignore it. And both of them are running release 01. But since I merged my application to master, and since I already configured my cluster to automatically deploy every new release to staging, soon a new build will kick off. There you go. And that build will soon finish, and it will deploy new release to staging. There you go, it's happening right now. It made a pull request to the repository that contains the whole definition of the staging environment. It is merging it now, linting it, verifying whatever needs to be done. It's gonna happen soon. Let's see my applications, watch. These are my applications in staging. I don't have watch, that's impossible. There is watching. Okay, then you're not gonna watch it. I'm gonna click refresh. So still all one, objects go. Come on. So disappointing. It's almost there. Okay, I'm really disappointed now. Now this is still running. It should be there. Come on, come on, come on. There you go. Release 02 is running in staging. So what is the last thing that we need to do to bring this to production? The last thing we need to do is, let's take a look. What do we have in production? Get applications --env production. What do we have in production right now? You will know the answer. We have nothing because production is configured at the moment to receive manual promotions. So I'm going to promote it to production. JX promote, blah, blah, blah. So JX promote. And there is a UI. You can have a button. Don't worry about that. I'm going to run a command. So I'm going to promote application JS Go, this specific version, to the environment production. And now it is working. What it is doing is that, again, this command is not deploying application to production. This command is going to the repository that describes all the applications in production. It created a branch. It modified it by adding or modifying the file that contains the dependencies. This, by the way, I didn't mention before, this is our Helm dependencies. Helm in general. Except that I'm not using Tiller. If you want, we can discuss why Tiller is a horrible thing. And you can see there, it created a pull request, it merged this pull request, and now it finished and it merged the pull request to master. And if I list what I have in production, I still have nothing probably because the process after the merge to master is still running. It is running. I'm going to be patient. Or I will not be patient. Come on. Take a deep breath. Not yet. Okay, kubectl get pods -n cd production. There you go. Still nothing. Still. Okay, questions while waiting for production. Is it horrible that you need at least 3 minutes until something is running in production? Is that how much it takes you? If you say no, then I feel better. There you go, production. I can click a link, I can see my fancy application, blah, blah, blah. It's running in production. I don't know how much more time I use than I'm supposed to, so I'm gonna go quick. This is my Twitter account, this is my blog, these are the books, buy them immediately, and that's about it of my talk. Questions?